Hello, welcome to my chaotic kitchen. We're making gluten-free, dairy-free donuts today. You'll need a donut pan. I only have one, so it actually is going to take me a lot longer to make these because it does make 12 donuts. What we are going to need is a lot of ingredients. You need almond flour, tapioca flour, sugar, can be brown, can be coconut, can be white sugar, cocoa powder. You need baking soda, salt, ripe bananas, dairy-free milk, 2 eggs, some oil, particularly olive oil or coconut oil, and some vanilla extract. Okay, you can glaze these. I choose not to. I think they're pretty moist. But we are going to whisk together some stuff. As I forget to clean off my whisk, so I'm just gonna rinse that sucker off real quick and use it again. If you're like me, you only have one really good whisk that I literally just bought the other day. So we are gonna whisk together all of our dry ingredients first. So we've got almond flour. We want a cup of that. I just use the half cup because it's just easier personally for me to get into the bag. Okay, so we're taking our cup of almond flour. Then we want a 1/3 cup of tapioca flour. Again, I do keep almond flour in the freezer. It just stays better like coffee. It just stays better in the freezer. Then we are going to get our tapioca flour. Just get Bob's red mill tapioca flour. We're doing a 1/3 of a cup of that. And what this does, it helps keep everything together. As you can see, I've made a lot of these before. Then we're gonna add in our sugar, which is, I believe, a half a cup. Just double checking. It says 2/3. We're just gonna do a half, because I don't feel like I really need something super sugary. Like I've said in previous videos, I don't really bake to quite to the recipe, but that is okay. All right, now we also need our cocoa powder. So again, cocoa powder, it's a half cup of cocoa powder. We're also going to throw in our baking soda as well, which is half a teaspoon of baking soda. Throwing that in as we clean up at the same time, because that's what we do, because we don't like a messy kitchen. And then some salt. We always gotta add in our salt. Probably good. And we're gonna whisk it together. Make sure that everything is mixed well, that we don't have spots of just almond flour, spots of just cocoa powder, spots of sugar. We want everything well blended. And once that's mixed, we're gonna do the wet ingredients in a bowl that I absolutely forgot to do. So we're gonna take our banana, our ripe banana. We're going to mash this banana. I normally break it up into a couple of pieces, because it's just easier. We are going to take our fork and mash. Nice thing about these recipes is they are inherently pretty quick. Don't take too long, which is nice. Granted, I do have all my ingredients already out. Not measured, but out. So, and this video does not include baking time. Now I do a nice rough mash here. We're gonna add our 2 eggs. Which is actually the rest of my eggs. Between baking and all these other things that I use eggs for. Go through a lot of eggs in this egg crisis thing that we still got going on. Mixing that together. And the nice thing is the egg is actually gonna help disintegrate the banana a little bit as we mix things together, which is kind of cool. We're gonna add vanilla to our heart's desire, okay? Whatever you feel. Add that little bit of vanilla. Again, mix her in so she's nice and blended with our fork. We are going to grab a 3rd cup eventually. There we go. And let's grab our almond milk. Adding that in. Third cup of almond milk. Again, whisk her in. And then I use olive oil. This recipe calls for coconut. I use olive. I'm not actually going to use the full 3rd cup. It calls for a 1/4, so I'm only going to fill this up about halfway because olive oil, the way that it works is a little different than coconut oil. You don't actually need as much as what recipes call for, which is kind of cool. And again, we're going to whisk that in with our fork. And we have now used all of our ingredients. We're gonna put wet and dry together in just a second here. We're gonna take our spray, and I'm actually gonna spray this over the sink because this is a pretty powerful spray. Definitely make sure you spray your tins really well. You only have to do it the one time, the very first time, if you only have one pan, like I do. We're gonna dump our wet into our dry. And then we are gonna give that sucker a good mix. Don't mind me, I got other things in the oven. Giving everything a good mix. Remember that cocoa powder is hydrophobic, which means it wants to leave the thing that is liquidy. So you're really gonna have to mix this in well. And you're gonna get a really nice batter consistency. Once everything is mixed in, it's gonna look something like this. Thick batter. Smells delicious. So I'm gonna mix this sucker a little bit more. I'm loving my new whisk. My other one kept falling apart. So it's like, oh, bite the bullet, give me a new whisk, and I love it, it's great. There we go. So that nice batter consistency. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna cook these for about 8 minutes, 10 minutes, give or take. Depending upon your oven, I like to switch mine. Like I said, we'll do them for 10. I'll switch them at 5. Obviously, again, I'm not going to hang out with y'all for that 10-minute time span. We're not just gonna sit here in silence. So what you're gonna do is you are going to scoop with a spoon into your donut pan. This is almost the part that takes the longest. You want to fill it up, not all the way because these are going to puff up, but just to about the top of the circle, of the inner circle, I should say. And it is a very messy process. So if you're spilling things everywhere, that is fine. Same. This is why we call it the chaotic kitchen, because we are messy. We do not follow the rules of baking entirely. Baking has science though, so follow kind of, but just maybe not all the way. And the nice thing about these types of things is just a reminder that if you are not gluten-free or you don't need to be gluten-free, you can make these with regular schmegular gluten. These are not yeast donuts. They are, in fact, cake donuts. So they will come out like a cake, like a chocolate cake. Very moist chocolate cake. And if you want to glaze them, you can. I do occasionally, but like I said, these are very moist. So I just like them for their chocolatey goodness, because I like something sweet basically after every meal of the day, because that's just who I am as a human being. And I've learned that there's, on the unfortunate thing that I had to be gluten-free, dairy-free, due to health reasons, all the crap that is gluten-free, dairy-free has a bunch of other crap in them that does not do well with my body personally. So I find it easier to just make these things, and it tastes so much better, and my stomach does not hurt when I make them, which is pretty nice. As you can see, the process of filling up my circles takes a bit of time, which is fine, which is totally fine. They're not all gonna be even, you know. And like I said, it should make 12, may make a little less, may make a little more. Honestly, every time I make them, they never turn out with the same amount, but they always turn out better every time. So they should look like this, pretty full. And then we're just gonna stick them in the oven for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to switch them in another 5 minutes. So put my timer on. All right, and like I said, I'll show you the final products later. If you have any questions on how to make chocolate donuts, feel free to drop a comment below.